All right, Pouring Nation, I have tested the Amsterdam white acrylic paint and shown how it is by far the best cell maker. But I want to figure out why. So one of the things I've noticed about Amsterdam is this paint actually dries matte compared to a lot of other paints. And I want to see if the matte characteristic of this paint actually causes it to be the cell maker. So we're going to take some acrylic paint that I have and do a bunch of tests to test my theory. And I'll link the video in the description and up above to show you where I did the test where I compared acrylic, some craft paint, Liquitex Basics, and a couple others, and showed you that the Amsterdam was the best paint to create a swipe with. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get this, and I've mixed up some paint already. This is 2 parts Floetrol to 1 part paint with just a tad bit of water to get the right consistency. So as you can see, the black here, it barely leaves a mound and disappears. It might mound upon a mound a tiny bit, but so it's kind of a medium thin consistency. And my white is just slightly thinner. So it's gonna leave a mound and go away. And I actually did a drip test just to show you. I used the same paper over and over again, so this is an old one. But these two are the drip tests that I did. See how the white is just slightly, so they're very close to the same consistency. We're gonna use some other colors later, so I check consistency on those also. So what I wanna do is just get some of this black. Just gonna get it down, not a ton. And then we're gonna take my palette knife here. I'm just going to get a little bit of paint on the end, and we're going to do our control test, which is I haven't added anything to this just to see how it works. So there's my control. So I do get a little bit of cell action. If I do a little bit of torching, I get a little bit more. So it's not bad. Not bad cell action, just not as good as the Amsterdam does. So what we're going to do is only with the white, because again, it's the white Amsterdam paint that's a little bit more matte. We are going to add some matte fluid medium. And this is just, it's kind of liquid. You can kind of see it there. And we're just going to pour a little bit in here. So this was 30 grams of Floetrol, 15 grams of paint, and then a tiny bit of water. So I'm going to measure how much I put in. So I'm going to put probably a teaspoon there. We're going to mix it up. And wow, look, I got a ton of cells here. I am honestly surprised I have not gotten that good of a reaction with the Blick paint ever, honestly. So that didn't really change the consistency. So I'm not really worried about that. So let's do the same thing. I'm gonna pour me a little bit of a I don't want to use a ton of paint to do this, but I want to make sure I have enough to get the effect. Make sure it's all integrated. Dip that in, get all the extra off. So same thing. So that's looking pretty good. it's hard for me to tell if I just had a little bit more white on, and so it gave that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do the exact same thing. We're going to put this on here. I'm going to add another teaspoon or so. So this would make it probably 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint, maybe a half a part of the matte medium. So for me, this test is inconclusive because I got great results just by itself, which honestly I've never gotten before. I got great results with the teaspoon, and I got great results with half a teaspoon and teaspoon of the matte medium. So I've got a bunch of paint here. I also made up a couple of these that don't have any, and these are all Floetrol, and then a little bit of, again, it's the Blick. I got these on sale, so the quinacridone violet. And then I also have here the phthalo green. So we're just going to do a test with the rest of my paints here just to see how a bloom swipe might look with these paints as they are. So I have way too much white. So we're just going to start out with the majority of the white here. That's going to be my quote-unquote base. And we're going to do a little bit of black, or a lot of bit of black. Let's do a little more black here. This is an 8 by 10 canvas. I need about 4 ounces of paint. I have a calculator on my website. You can do the math there for that. I don't quite have 4 ounces of paint here, but this is a test, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. So now I'm going to get this as centered as I can. I'm going to dab up my I'm just trying to get this to drip all the way on. I don't want a ton of paint on my swiping tool. And we're going to all right, stop. Seriously, there's no way. This is 100% not what I was expecting. I want to see if I can get a couple cells there in the middle. Well, since we have it here, let's center this up. And I did make this pouring container out of cardboard. I'll link that in the description below also if you want to make your own. All right, so let's get a close-up. As I mentioned, this is not what I was expecting. Now you see all the little droplets of the kind of pinholes of the black? That tends to happen when your base isn't really as thick or as pillowy as it needs to be. I didn't do a traditional Shelly Art bloom here, but I am so surprised at how well that turned out. I might have to try to use the Blick paints a little bit more. I might have to do a whole bloom with the Blick paints first, and then try with the matte medium to see if it makes a big difference. But so far, I am loving how this turned out. So I need to do way more experiments with the Liquitex matte fluid medium to see what else we can do with it.